Hello, hope you are having a wonderful now. I wanted to get on and just talk about and let knowing speak to what's going on in our lives. No matter what appears, whether it be the appearance of violence, racism, the appearance of harm, oppression, injustice, and the like. All of these things are appearances only, meaning the beliefs and the meaning we create are the things we invest in that make them appear real. The meaning about them, the beliefs about them. Now let's just think about oneness for a second and bring ourselves back to that. When you think about oneness, there's an understanding of the concept, but to get to the realization, the recognition and the realization of it, this requires what many have called the spirit, this higher consciousness, this knowing that teaches all things, spoken of in the Bible by Yeshua. The other religions recognize it as something else, but it's this intelligence, this knowing that permeates all things, that we have access to, whatever you call it, God, whatever it is. Once we get out of the mind and the labels and the constraints and the limitations of what this limitless presence is, the spirit, and we align with it, we begin to get out of the meaning and these limited perceptions and these skewed beliefs and perceptions, misperceptions, miscreations, beliefs that we have about what is. And it allows us to access a knowing that transcends our conditioned thinking, the habitual thinking and beliefs that we have about life. Then we begin to recognize what that great teacher Yeshua spoke about, that we are not of this world that we see with our eyes, the material world, the flesh, the physical, the form, the illusion, the Maya. We're not of this. We are the essence, the divine, one with God. He and you and I and God, all one. So when we begin to look at the world through this knowing of oneness, we recognize that the form is the illusion. It looks separate, like separate fingers on one hand. But in reality, all of the form that appears so separate is really on the frequency and vibrational level connected to the essence. And what we are doing is experiencing, navigating through this illusion by choosing what we create. First internally, vibrationally, based on all the levels of creation. First and foremost in the spacious domain of where we select these vibrations. We select these frequencies. Some of them we attach to and hold on to, some of them we allow. But we navigate the world through that way, and we create on the level of meaning and belief. We create on the level of manifestation and working with form and the physicality and appearance of things, and where we go and how we move. The actions we create on the level of feeling, sensing, and then of course the primary level of frequency and vibration It's through aligning with the knowing, with the source of all of this, the one. Aligning with that which we truly are, that allows us to create or navigate the world of illusion without belief in separation. We begin to let go of all these different ways we separate it all, and we fall into this bliss, the joy, the love that we truly are. And we hold no more records of wrongs. Love holds no records of wrongs. Does not see right and wrong. It sees through the eyes of perfection, recognizing that the form is the illusion, and there is only God within it all. Therefore, how could there ever be wrong? We can let go of those beliefs. And then we begin to realize in our own being and knowing and experience all the same. We realize the perfection, the bliss, and the freedom we have to choose what we experience in each moment. So when violence arises as a belief, we see beyond it because we choose to know that there is no harm. When racial divide and prejudice arise, we align and recognize that there is only one. And that action out of suffering and these misbeliefs is what's causing the so-called racism and so-called violence, the appearance of all these things. But since there is no harm and there's only one, really all it is an illusion. And we can choose peace and bliss despite what's happening, even if it appears this judgment or these beliefs or actions are directed towards us. We can still choose to fall into bliss, to know that all is well, that we cannot be harmed, that we are not the body, we are the oneness. We are the essence of it all. And we can even find bliss in the midst of that because it's our birthright. There is only consciousness, acceptance, and bliss. The reality of life being the consciousness and the source energy that's flowing and navigating as we choose. We either choose to give our investment to beliefs that are not aligned with that oneness and reality, that say all is not well, that there is right and wrong, evil, darkness, and thus we make them real in our own mind by misbelieving, missing the mark. We create the sin, the separation. Attaching to beliefs that what we are is not divine, what we are is not well, what we are is not whole, or we align, restoring our awareness to expand into our sanity and our knowing. We bring that forth. We experience the bliss and the peace. And we realize that all of that belief, that misbelief, that fear-based separation is all just a miscreation. Nothing. So we can be aligned with the source of who we are and navigate life, choosing that oneness, allowing that to direct our knowing, our thoughts, our actions, allowing that to direct our words and our vibration, allowing that to choose and navigate in a way that brings harmony so that our very presence reminds others, quote, others of who they are. We show them the mirror of their light. In the face of all illusion, we enjoy the illusion because we don't invest in the beliefs that it is real. We don't invest in the beliefs that we could ever be harmed. But wait, did you hear what happened in Charlotte? Don't belittle it. I don't mock it. I remind that in this illusion, based on what we have chosen collectively as real in the world of form, did you hear how many deaths there have been throughout history? Did you hear how much violence there has been throughout history? Did you hear how much separation and judgment there has been throughout history? Are you ready to choose differently? Forgive them, for they know not what they do. Forgive us, Father, for we know not what we do. We know not that we have miscreated all of this illusion and suffering to learn from, to experience what a false belief in limitation feels like, what a false belief in death, which has no sting, feels like, from a false belief in less than and greater than. How could any of that exist in oneness? Oneness with the divine, with bliss, with God, with love. From a false belief in records of wrongs. Love keeps no records of wrongs. For all my Christian friends out there, you recognize that 1 Corinthians chapter 13. Beautiful wife passing by. Got to share that all there is you. You are the divine. You are one with the Father, Source, God, Allah, the universal essence of all that is, the divine love that permeates, the bliss, the consciousness that permeates all things and is whole and complete. You are this. And wherever you are is perfect right now. Whatever you're choosing is perfect right now. It's just your belief that it is not. The beliefs, the miscreations, they're technically meaningless. They're just causing you the suffering. Drop down into the level of being. Alive. Allow the Spirit, that holy, sacred Spirit that you are one with. I and the Father are one. His Spirit is one, that is extended out for us, as us. Align, allow, let go. Surrender into the source energy, the consciousness. Let your awareness expand so that you can see what you are choosing and release what's creating the suffering. Allow the divine understanding, divine knowing that transcends understanding actually to emerge. So that's it. That seems to be the answer to everything. Every circumstance, every belief, every appearing paradox, appearing evil, appearance of harm. That answer of surrendering to the Spirit that teaches all things and corrects, brings about the knowing. Yeah. That's who you are. That's what you are. You're not of this world, but of the Spirit. And in truth, you recognize and feel it. That love corrects, brings about salvation, saves you from your false beliefs, missing the mark, the sin you have created. Not because it's wrong, because you've learned from it enough. It served you enough and you're ready to move on, experience your birthright of heaven, what you really are, your birthright of bliss, mastery. All is well and always is, and so it is.